All right. Hello, chat. How's it going? Hopefully well. We're back. We're playing more Ace Combat 6. Continuing with the multiplayer. We've got a ways to go. However, we're really getting somewhere. Okay? I swear, I know I say that. I know I say that a lot whenever I'm doing ridiculous completions, but I mean it. I mean it. Every time I say it, I mean it, of course. But I mean it this time especially. Yes. Let me get it open. Rimming. No, I don't. It's just not even true. I don't know why she would say that. I have no idea why she would say that. Personally. Not even true. GTA Online got an update today and you can pet your cat now. They still have like a team doing GTA Online updates. I guess the shark cards don't sell themselves, right? That's crazy. Like for some reason I was under the impression they had moved everyone off of GTA 5 like officially. That's actually wild. It's been so long. They're locked in the broom closet. Sounds like it. Imagine being on the team at Rockstar. You know, everyone else gets to go have fun making GTA 6 and you get stuck doing all of the small GTA Online updates for like adding the ability to pet your cat. GTA 6 team over there, they're like, you can pet your cat, your dog, your alligator. We got that. You're like, yeah, we made it so you can pet your cat in GTA 5. You know, we thought people might like it. Seemed like a good idea. I would actually, unironically, it would probably be a pretty big bummer to be one of the people stuck working on GTA 5 still, while GTA 6 is so deep into development. Like, that would actually kind of suck. I don't know, maybe if you're just so unbelievably passionate about GTA 5 specifically, it might not suck that bad, maybe. But I feel like it would suck. It seems like it would suck. Starting her out with a team battle. If instead of Chop, it's a gator. Hey, it's set in Florida, right? I think a pet gator is in the cards. I think it's doable, personally. I did add that metric to the spreadsheet for this completion, chat, that also tells me how many wins across all the modes we still need, just in their own cells. And I can tell you that as of right now, I need 101 more victories. I need 101 more. So once I get one more victory, whenever that might happen today, I will officially only be 100 wins away from having all of the achievements. Oh, Valentine's flying the 33. I feel like I should probably just start it, just get her going. Others will trickle in, as always. I'm gonna do my best to make sure you get that. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you will. You know, Valentine always just basically hands me victories, obviously. Everyone knows it. Everyone's been talking about it. Check Discord. I'm flying. Now is not the time. The 33 is a little scary for the point scaling and for just being good. But the 47 is maybe the most mobile plane in the game. I don't know, the Typhoon is up there too in 6. But the 47 can do that. The 47 can literally drift in this game with high G. Because, like, AC6 doesn't even have really anything remotely mimicking realistic physics, like simulating any of that. And yet, somehow, they made this plane so fucking fast that despite the fact that there are basically no realistic physics in AC6, you can drift. Like, you can actually turn and still kind of be moving in the direction you were going before for a second. Is the only plane in 6 that can do it. I can't drift any of the other planes. Ooh. Oh, my camera's in the wrong spot, isn't it? Hold on. I have time. Boom. You know, I'll take it. Which ace game is this? This is 6. In the content creations channel of the official Discord. I've not considered it. I normally don't like to do that, like the self-promo. It feels like it might be an appropriate place. But I'm not in the official Ace Combat Discord. I keep my Discord really slim. I don't like being in a lot of servers. I think I'm only in like 10 servers on Discord. I really don't like to clutter it up. God, this thing can move, man.
We have radar lock on. Missile struck target.
10 is a lot. It's really not. Ask other people who regularly use Discord how many they're in. 10, like, including my own and, like, falses, which if you took those out, because those are basically mandatory, it's even less.
Special weapons running low. All special weapons used.
I'm in at least 40. There you go.
Warning, incoming missile. Hit, hit. Box 2.
Hot Sauce is a Discord user. But like, what's that? Even in like the Bandai Namco creator server or like the Sega one,
Missile struck target.
like both of those have designated channels for all of us to like self-promo. I don't use it. I don't like doing that.
Lock on. Shut down.
Aw. How many points does he get? Probably a lot. Maybe not that many, actually. Maybe like 1,200-ish?
Alpha 1, engage.
Holy shit. Good guess. I was 20 points off. Good guess. It was pretty damn good. I'm proud of that. I'll take it. Oh my god, did that hit him for like 99? Look at his health in that little camera. For those that don't know the game, at the very bottom of that little camera shot in the corner, you can see his health. I think I hit him for like 99 or 98% damage with that shot. You know, 6 is a grind for achievements. There are way too many. It asks too much of a grind of you for sure. But the core gameplay of 6 is so good for multiplayer dogfighting. It's actually kind of crazy. That's a lot of G's. Yeah, 6 is fast. Ghost, aww. Just counted, I'm in 69 servers, no joke. There you go, chat. A real Discord user. Granted, you could say, like, also with my servers, to be fair, most of my servers are things that I have to be in. For work, mostly. Because I said, like, my server and Falsa's server, but then, like, I also, just a second ago, mentioned, like, the Bandai Namco creator, or, like, content partner or whatever server. I don't remember what it's called. Something like that. And the Sega one that I just got into as well. Like, those are also basically mandatory servers for work. So if I took out, like, every server that I'm required to be in, I would be in maybe, like, 4, to be honest. Yeah, that was a bad maneuver. Oh, I'll take a trade off of it. That helps. Man, the Russian planes in 6, eh? They're wild. These are some crazy dogfights for the warm-up game. Neither of us have played Ace Combat in a bit. But the Russian planes in 6 just fucking move, man. It's kind of wild. Especially the 47. I went right for the big one. Like, this thing hauls ass. Ooh. Were those just standard missiles? Oh yeah, he is shooting both. I should honestly be doing more of that. Hello, Groka. Welcome back to the mines. Ooh. Crashed. Frontline resupply is apparently making a return. Is it? Why didn't they show us? Bro, they would have had me fucking, like, soy jacking in the capture space if they had let us play a mission with it. Why would they not show us that? I feel like that's one of, like, the coolest Ace Combat features ever. All right, chat. With that win, officially 100 wins remaining on this 100%. 100 to go across all 3 modes. We have 100 like combined total wins left to go. The end is within sight, because that sounds insane, but keep in mind it was 300 that was required, so I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Such a small number, I know. Only 100. My internet is cooked? Oh no. What's going on with your internet? Dropped the source. This has my attention. Frontline resupply. Oh. Hazriel wanted me to look at Discord because he's playing Armored Core finally. And he's going to get addicted, and it's going to be another one. Another convert for me. From PC Gamer. PC Gamer's pretty good. Okay, they don't straight up call it frontline resupply, because I tried to control F for it. Maybe I should look for resupply. No. I'll have to look back at it in a second.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
And by in a second, I mean in 10 minutes. Oh, you quoted. Okay, I'll look at that then. I opened the article to go find it.
Fired.
I didn't read the blurb with it. Got me into emulation in general. Hey, man. It's one of those things that's like, it's a little weird to figure it out when you go in knowing nothing about it, but once you get comfortable with like tweaking it and stuff and getting it the way you want it, so nice. It's so nice to be able to do. One of the greatest things PC brings to the table.
We have radar lock on.
Granted, native ports are still nicer, but emulation can be pretty good. Chat, you guys should play Armored Core. I have no bias. Tried to run Uncharted 2. Oh, the Uncharted games are yeah. Those pretty much just don't run, even if you have like a beefed out PC. They're way too demanding because they were so specific to the architecture, and there haven't been like many efforts to patch it up for emulation. For some reason, you would think Uncharted would be one that people were like really trying to get working on RPCS 3, but there really hasn't been. Games like God of War 3 and MGS 4 that had the same issue have had way more effort put into them. Are playable? Playable only means you can actually play the game.
Inbound cruise missile.
It does not mean you can play it at a good, stable frame rate without any visual bugs.
Boarding incoming missile.
Can a computer be too good for an emulator? Not really.
Was evaded.
I mean, there are like some incredibly specific interactions that could maybe be defined like that. But like RPCS 3 has to compile the SPU pipeline before a game can be played. And it's basically, I think it's like similar to compiling shaders when you boot up like a new modern PC release. Like, you just have to sit there and let your CPU compile them all before you really play. The higher core CPU you have, like the more cores your CPU has, the slower that process is going to be for you on RPCS3. So like my CPU has 32 cores, which RPCS3 does not like very much, and compiling SPU pipelines takes fucking forever. Like, seriously forever. Playable is the best category. It goes playable, in-game, intro, loadable. Yeah, Hasreal. Playable is the best rating, but all that it means is that you can actually play the game. Like, menus and... Okay, so in-game, to explain it to you, I'll start from the bottom, actually. Loadable means that it will boot, but, like, as a black screen. So loadable means, like, literally nothing. Intro means it will boot, play like the intro movies, but then you can't actually play anything. In-game means that the game has a ton of issues with like menus or maybe pre-rendered cutscenes, but the gameplay is fine. And playable just means menus and gameplay work and will load and boot in emulator. But even if you have a playable rating, that doesn't mean it plays well. It just means it plays. Menus and stuff included. They don't rate any higher than that because at that point it's irrelevant from a development standpoint. Because beyond getting them playable, like menus and all, it's a community effort. It's not on the actual emulation team at that rate. So it is the best rating, but it doesn't mean the game plays well. It just means it is possible to play it. In-game even, most of the time you can play it just fine. Like some, I think Armored Core, the 4th gen games.
I'd rather freaking... Your asshole.
The 4th gen Armored Core games, I think, are both rated as in-game, not playable. But like, even the menus and stuff work like a dream on RPCS 3. So I don't know why they aren't marked as playable by the team. They must have some weird reason, but like, I 100%ed those games on RPCS 3 and had 0 issues. I don't know why they're marked as in-game. Like, those games run better than the Uncharted games. I tried to set up the Uncharted trilogy for False because she was wanting to play them on PC and like upscale them and stuff maybe like last year. And so I dumped my Uncharted 1 and 2 discs. I don't have a physical disc for 3, unfortunately. I had a digital copy. But I dumped 1 and 2. And both of them I got, like, running. But even on, like, the 4080 Beef PC, Uncharted 1 was running at, like, 25 FPS. Like, I could play it at 25. I'm not going to, but I could. I got an upgrade. I'm now AC8 ready. Let's go. AC8 to the moon. Did you guys see, well, I bet no one saw it, actually. Well, some people may have. It's an Ace Combat stream. I'm used to playing so many other games. ACF recently mentioned it in a video, and I don't think I ever mentioned this on stream either. But in a conversation with the guy who managed the Ace Combat 8 like preview event for creators and stuff in LA a couple months ago, we were speaking with him at dinner. And he told us that Ace Combat 8 is Bandai Namco's like #1 focus this year in terms of like marketing, and like they're putting the biggest priority on Ace Combat 8 this year. And ACF recently mentioned it in a video of his, which some people might have heard. But I feel like I kind of forgot that. I forgot to mention that. Granted, it's not something that like we can prove. There's no like documentation of it or recording of that conversation at dinner or whatever, but Obo and I were all talking with him, and he told us like, yeah, it's Bandai Namco's prime focus this year is Ace Combat 8's release. Like they're putting most of their marketing budget for the year into AC8. They're really betting big on this one. How did 7 perform sales-wise? Really good. 7, I believe, is at like 7.5 million copies sold, which isn't like a monumental success, but for a niche flight game where all you do is fly planes around, that's pretty substantial success, right? Like that's incredibly successful when you look at the genre and everything. Is there no other big game coming out this year? Not really from Bandai Namco, actually. Like, Ace Combat 8 kind of is their biggest release of the year. And it's funny, I didn't know until... Speaking of ACF and his recent video, it was on like the sales performance of the Ace Combat games over the years. It was just an interesting little like 10-minute analysis and dive into it. I would recommend it. It was good. But I didn't know prior to watching that video that Ace Combat 6 sold more copies than Ace Combat 0. I had no idea that that was the case. It wasn't by a lot. Like, they pretty much sold about the same number of copies. But it's still a crazy fact to look at as an AC fan. Because you hear all this talk about, like, how AC6 was basically killed by Xbox exclusivity. But then it sold about as well as, like, the fan favorite. Wait a minute. Wasn't it the other way around? 0 more than 6? No, I think 6 was like marginally more. Like barely any. They were pretty much neck and neck. But I think 6 was like literally 0.02 million copies more or something. Because he had it measured in millions on his graph that he made. That was a BR where we tied for the win. Which, as we have learned before, and I think he was doing it intentionally, flying around in circles at the end there. Although I would never accuse him of such a thing. But we did learn that that counts as a win for both players. So we mark that as a win. Because as far as the game is concerned, it is one. Oh boy. Sorry, I got a big, like, ping that I'm gonna have to read later. Our turn rate was the same, I know. We were both trying to get around to each other and we couldn't. Like I said, I would never accuse Valentine of intentionally trying to tie the Battle Royale match so we both win. Ever. I would not. Okay, maybe I fibbed a little bit. I'm reading the big ping now while waiting. I read it. I don't want to EML snipe. I just want to blast through the siege battle since it's only 2 of us. I just want it to go fast. That's the only thing. Siege battle is such a slog when you only have 2 people doing it, because obviously you have less respawn timers to rack up.
I'm about to send you an objective point on radar.
And less firepower to take out all the targets with. It's bad on both sides. It slows it down in both ways. Oh, fuck's sake.
Enemy plane down.
I got hit.
Shot down.
There it is. I don't know if it was a commercial failure, though, because it was made for cheap. I think that's the thing. Zero probably, like, I say probably, Zero almost definitely turned more of a profit than Ace Combat 6, despite them selling pretty much the same number of copies. Because Zero, they made on, like, you know, a budget of a meal deal at McDonald's. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but compared to Ace Combat 6's budget, like all the fancy, you know, next-gen stuff they were doing at the time with this game, Zero cost them, like, nothing to develop, comparatively. Was using 5's engine, too. Yeah, they already had, like, the core gameplay made. They just made, like, a new scenario, some new assets, did all, like, the new cutscenes and story stuff, and, like, that. It's pretty much all it took for them to make Zero, actually. I was about to say, the most expensive part was probably just getting all the actors and stuff. I'm sorry, Valentine. It had to be done. The completion waits for no one. Unfortunately. Ooh. Seems to get more love from Project Aces themselves in terms of references. Yeah, I think they...
Get better balls, Cole.
Gun taken out.
Granted, it's hard to say if they, what's it? If they themselves, like, are just really proud of Zero, or if maybe they're just in touch enough to know that, like, the community loves Zero. Which they obviously, they would know. But it's more like, you know, all the corporate stuff with, like, Bandai Namco. There's all sorts of... When you have a publisher relationship like that, you can only really publicly say or do anything that your publisher approves. So, like, even if it is just that they are aware of how much fans love it, it's hard to say if Bamco would, you know, approve all of that. I think genuinely they are just very proud of Zero as, like, the refinement of everything they had done up to that point.
Careful now, they're tracking you on radar.
Though it's probably realistically a mix of both. Actually, now that I say that and think about it for a bit, it's probably a mix of both. The first pass being Zero themed. Yeah, my money would be on the first season pass being Zero themed, just to tie in with the pre-order thing. Because then obviously it encourages more pre-orders, like deluxe edition pre-orders even, to get the plane and everything. But choosing Zero as a port that will go to all platforms certainly might be indicative of something. You consider Skycrawlers to be an Ace Combat game? Not necessarily, but, like, adjacent. It's about as close as you could be to being an Ace Combat game without literally having the Ace Combat name on it. But not, like, literally, no.
Missile was evaded.
And that's only just because, what's it? Whenever something's borderline like that, I always just look to whether the developers treat it as part of the series or not. Like with the Yakuza games, they have spin-offs like Judgment and stuff like that that don't even have the Yakuza IP like branded on them anywhere. But then when the developers talk about like the evolution of the series over the years and stuff like that, or when they release like timelines or what have you, they include Judgment on there as part of the series. So whenever it's something weird or like borderline like that, that's typically my my tiebreaker, so to speak.
Operation Alpha complete. Move on to another airspace. Operation Bravo complete. You're doing great. Continue on with the mission.
Almost made a what is Xevious? Xevious. I've never heard of it.
Operation Charlie complete. Enemy forces within Operation Airspace have been eliminated. Nice work. Target coordinates have been sent. This is the last group.
Has a pixie outfit, my wallet will scream. I mean, to be fair, I'm getting the deluxe, so it's not even a matter of if it has this or if it has that. It's like, yeah, I need it. So
Sam destroyed. Missile missed.
although I might be able to get a key, I don't know. I keep kind of forgetting that I'm actually in the Bandai Namco program now, officially, because it's such a recent thing. I might actually be able to get a key. I would get the deluxe. I was planning on getting the deluxe before I was in the program.
Careful now, they're
But I
trying
might
to
be
pull
able to
radar.
just get one now.
Sam kill confirmed. Enemy forces are hanging on by a thread.
That was a terrible
Almost
shot.
done here.
I should have just slowed down. One of Namco's crowning jewels akin to Pac-Man? Really?
Stage complete. All aircraft return to base.
Maybe that's why I'm not familiar. My arcade game history is not great. I'm tepid about the Battle Pass. Oh, so am I. I really don't like the Battle Pass thing. Like,
Alpha 1, engage the
when I say that I'm going to buy it anyway, it really is from the perspective of like content creation brain. Like if it has DLC planes locked to the Battle Pass, even like temporarily, like if it's a timed thing where after that season ends, it will be sold separately, but during the season, the only way to get it is from buying the pass, you know, stuff like that. Even if it's that, like, yeah, I'm gonna need it during the season, just content-wise, right? But what's up? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I don't like the Battle Pass thing. That was my train of thought. I really do not like that approach to monetization. I 100%, I wish they had told us about that before the review
Hi,
embargo
Does
lifted.
my chat need some milkies?
Or not
Do you
review
need some
embargo.
mommy milkies? Is baby thirsty? Little piss baby, are you thirsty?
Before the preview embargo lifted, I wish they had told us about any of that. Because they had all of us like making these videos talking about how great the single player was and just how great the game was. And they didn't show us or tell us anything about multiplayer whatsoever. And then like as soon as my preview video goes up, literal hours after they announce the Battle Pass stuff, I get a ton of people who are like, how are you out here just completely ignoring all of the monetization and multiplayer talk? Like what? Are you just a paid shill? Were you just told not to mention it? Like, why are you not talking about it? And I'm just like, we didn't know. Like, they actually just didn't tell us. They left us totally in the dark and then released it right before our embargo lifted. like literal hours before. Obo managed to sneak in like a little tidbit about it. He must have like re-exported and uploaded his video right before embargo lift, because like it was such a short time to actually fit that in there. I was shocked it was in his video. They're showing way too much stuff. They got a bad habit of trailer spoilers. I'm not a big lore guy, so for me, I don't feel like they're showing too much stuff. My one thing is I think we, at the preview, were allowed to play a lot. Like, I was shocked that we got to play a whole 7 missions of the campaign at the preview. Like, that's a lot. That's a big chunk of the game, right? I was expecting to be able to play, like, 3 missions or something. But we got to play 7. So I feel like I've already learned so much about, like, the story and stuff that I probably wouldn't have wanted to know this far out. Like, I'm kind of on this month-long cliffhanger of I got to play the main story. I mean, straight up, we got to play the first 5 missions, like, in sequence, cutscenes and all. And then we got to play most of mission 9, it was. And then the entirety of mission 11. And so, like, I know a lot. I've mentioned before, I mentioned some, like, very simple, very, very early story stuff in my preview video. But, like, I haven't talked about a lot of the story stuff that we got to see during the preview, because I feel like it's too much. Like, if I were watching a video or like a stream of a creator and they just randomly dropped that info, I would be like, what the fuck, man? Like, you're saying way too much way too early. Like, I didn't want to know that. So I haven't been saying any of it. And, like, I know ACF and Obo were both on the same page. Like, we talked about it at breakfast the next morning together, where we were like, we're probably just not going to talk about this, right? Because this is too much. And we're all kind of in agreement, like, yeah, it's probably best to, like, mention some really basic, simple stuff from the very beginning of the game and just leave it there. Because, like, we got to see a lot. All in on general resource. I'm still convinced, genuinely, like, I'm not saying it to be cheeky or, you know, cover up or whatever. I'm still fully convinced that general resource will be nothing more than a cameo. Personally, I don't expect any of the AC3 factions to really come into play. Maybe at, like, the very end of the game they do somehow, but I feel like it's just going to be a cameo. Will show up in the last 3 missions. Yeah, it's possible that something like that happens, but so far I'm leaning more towards cameo territory. And yes, it's true, I would be a paid shill for them if they gave me one of those dev jackets, because those are fucking cool, man. When Kono had that on, I was like, where's my jacket? You guys gonna give me a jacket on the way out, or what? Where's my jacket? Where is it? I want a dev jacket. I get it's for the dev team, but it's cool as fuck. I want one. It was so clean. When Kono went up in front of everyone to, like, speak a bit before the event started, I just immediately, I was like, that jacket is so fucking dope. I want one. And I was thinking it was, like, either gonna be part of the goodie bag that we got on the way out, or, like, worst case, it would be something that they sell, like, when the game comes out online or something. And then I found out live on stream while talking about the jacket that they are selling Ace Combat 8 jackets. However, the dev team has their own like special jackets that only they got, and those will not be sold or anything, and that's what Kono was wearing at the event. So I can't have one, and I am upset still.
Alpha 1.
I am still upset. Corruption has a price, and it's a jacket. It's true. Corruption absolutely has a price of exactly one Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves developer jacket. Bandai Namco. Wink wonk. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's a screenshot that features general resource that seems plot relevant. I know the screenshot. I think it's a cameo. Ace Combat 8 Honor Among Thieves. Kono. Dev jacket. Just saying. Ace Combat 8 could be the first 10 out of 10 I ever give. I'm just saying. I could give it a perfect score for the price of exactly one developer jacket. All right, come on. I think it's a pretty good deal,
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
personally.
Enemy.
All right, thank you, Valentine. Or sorry, not Valentine. Thank you, Valentine's, you know, old, aging, dying controller, poor Xbox controller with abysmal stick drift. Wink, wink. Thank you to that controller, was what I meant to say. Broken controller, yes. Yes, of course. My bad. I'm easily confused. I'm sorry. I can't get no credit for the life of me. Well, you of course would not purposefully give me a win just to keep things rolling at a good pace ever. I mean, that would be like boosting, and we wouldn't do that. We would not. Sir, can I have your jacket? Should have asked him. Should have asked him. What was the progress at the beginning of the stream? It was 66.56%. I actually don't think I said it at the beginning because I was focused on a different metric, but not the Sam. Hey, man. It has to be done. Say it in Japanese, I'm sure he would say yes. Bro, I still just... I was so shocked by ACF speaking Japanese. It was like the biggest jump scare of my week. That man can speak a lot of languages. He may be a polyglot, actually. I don't know how many languages he speaks for certain. I know at the very least now that he speaks Portuguese, English, and Japanese. So he's already at 3, and he speaks them all well. English, he basically is fluent. Like, he just is.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you make sure your feet are clean?
And then Portuguese is his first language. Shit. And his Japanese was really good. ACF is a talented man.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
Sure. Why do I act that way toward women? I don't know. How's my Japanese? I don't know if you actually want the answer to that.
Shut down.
We're just gonna do this until one of us actually breaks it.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
From Fist of the North Star. He knows Omae wa mo shinderu. Nani? Crazy high-pitched sound from the original adaptation. The ear-piercing Hokuto.
We have radar lock on.
More so 86 movie. Oh. 86 movie is weird. Fun, weird. But fun. Talking about general resource in 8 is like a conspiracy theory. It's because it's copium. Not sorry. I need to stop talking though. I thought the Ace Combat Zero thing was copium.
Missile missed.
Granted, I had good reason to think the Zero thing was copium because I'm an Armored Core fan. You know how many Armored Core 6 DLC leaks there have been through SteamDB over the last few years? I have reason to be suspicious of a SteamDB leak. They almost never come true.
Radar lock.
Aces are built different. To be fair, FromSoft is also built different. But honestly, I feel like even if there may have been plans for AC6 DLC, a lot of that might have gotten screwed over by FromSoft splitting from Bandai Namco. Like, that absolutely could have affected any sort of DLC, you know, plans there may have been for that game.
Missile missed.
When Mr. General Resource of the Resource family shows up and says, this entire war was schemed to gain control over the continent of Yuja. Ha 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 ha. You guys see the Ace Combat 8 video with the AI voice? I forgot to ever talk about this on stream. Who here saw the AC8 like informational video they put up that used the AI voiceover? Who watched it? Because just reading the word Yuja made me think of it. Yeah, I saw that. Bro, that shit had me dying. Irusi. It was so bad. Yuseiya. It was so good. I couldn't believe it. It was fucking killing me. It was so good. Yakutobania. I need to do a video. I need to do like an actual review or something of an AC game and use all those pronunciations. Peak engagement bait. Those who are in on the joke will love it. Those who are not will just be like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Can he not read? Does he not even listen to the games? What's going on? Prime engagement bait right there. I might have to do that. Yakutobania. The video was awesome. Like, normally I would be mad, but just because it butchered literally every single country name that exists in Strange Reel, I can't even really be mad about it. It was just so fucking funny.
Shut down.
Please. Yes! My gamble! Yes! Yes! We're so back.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
So bad it's funny. It was. Abusing peer-to-peer advantage. No, I got the lead by doing the normal dogfight. And now I could take trades for the next 3 minutes and we're golden.
Shut down.
You can probably blame the Banco America marketing team. I would never.
Alpha 1, engage.
I met too many of them and they were all very nice. So I would never. However, it may have been their fault. It is possible. Now that you mention it, pay it off with an Ace Combat pen. It's true, they gave me a cool pen. They also gave me, I've actually been using the glasses case they gave me.
Engage the enemy.
Like, ever since I got home from the event. I don't even know where I put my old case for my glasses. Oh, they're over there on the table off screen. There, but I have been using the Wings of Thieves glasses case ever since I got back.
Lock on.
You're gonna get Tekken and future FromSoft games for free? Well, FromSoft is no longer with Bamco. 1. 2, it's never a guarantee that I can get a key, but they actually, look, I'm not talking shit. Okay, if anything, this is like constructive feedback and criticism, if anything. The Bandai Namco server is so much nicer than the Sega one. They have a whole channel in there, literally, that is just like game key requests. Like straight up just in the Discord server. Oh yeah, Mega Flute. I forgot about that one too. But they straight up have a channel in the creator server that is just like, I can send a message in there and be like, hey, is there any chance I could get a key for whatever? Like Tekken 8 DLC pass, whatever it might be. And one of the reps from Bandai Namco America just monitors that channel and puts it straight through for approval or whatever. It's so nice. They have it so well organized in there. The Sega one is pretty good. Become a Sega shill to save money on Yakuza games. The Sega one, more than anything, I think is very understaffed by comparison, which would make sense. It's a smaller company. But, yeah. The Bandai Namco America program is,
Stage complete. All
at least it's,
database.
like, it's presented nicer. It's, like, you get into that server and everything just makes sense.
Engage the enemy.
Become a Sega shill, constantly beef with 3 Kiwami. To be fair, what I love about both programs is that we can fully say whatever the fuck we want. And there's no, well, whatever we want about the games, and like as long as it's actually how we feel and all that, right? Like I can't literally be out here, like if I started publicly throwing out like death threats or harassment campaigns, that would be one thing. But like if I really hated an Ace Combat game or a Yakuza game or whatever, and I said that in like I could upload like an hour-long video breaking down every way that I disliked that game, they're gonna be cool with that. Like it's fine. I can't say whatever I want. That's not true. I may have gotten a little carried away in saying that, but point is, I like that with both of them. Like if I genuinely just hated a game of theirs, even if it was like a new release, and I did like this huge rant piece on like how much I disliked this as a fan of the series, they would just be like, all right, that's an honest review. The aura the glasses case has is immense. Yeah, this one, I can... The joke about the pen is the whole goodie bag. And, like, to be fair, the pen I got before the event. They sent out, like, a care package before the event. But this, I got at the event. It was in the goodie bag. I got a little glasses case that says Wings of Thief on it. I can't see my camera right now. I need to pull it up. Oh, yeah, you can see it. And I've been using this for my glasses ever since. And actually, I don't know if I showed this one. At least not, like, super directly. Here. This one's actually cool as fuck. You guys ready for this? Even cooler than the glasses case, maybe. Maybe. Check this. Oh, the music. My bad. The rag? I gotta get, like, real close. The little, like, rag for cleaning the glasses that they included here is the Aces logo. Look at it. Look at it. This is what I clean my glasses with. This is, like, my new rag for cleaning the glasses. It is the Aces logo. That's cool. It's very cool. I don't think I ever showed that one before. Aces microfiber cloth. It's microfiber. Thank you. I couldn't remember what they're called. the rags. Or cloths. Cloths. I wouldn't clean my glasses with it. Squiggly lines. Yeah, if you don't know Ace Combat, you're just like, okay. But, what's it? It's very cool. I want it.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
How much you offering?
I'm about to send you an objective point on radar.
Yeah, tree fitty.
We know exactly what we plan to do. All
350.
planes, assume attack formation.
Yeah, he still hasn't given a game 9 out of 10. Hey, some got really close. Like, real, I think, was my highest score for 4?
Enemy down.
I think it was 4, right? And I think that was like an 8.8 or something like that. It was really close. To be fair, I'm stingy with my 9s and 10s, okay? I'm very stingy with my 9s and 10s. I'm known for it. I don't think I've ever given an Armored Core game a 9 or above. I don't think I've ever given a Yakuza game a 9 or above. I could be wrong on Yakuza. I don't think I have.
Alpha 1,
Metal Gear, I know I gave a few. Resident Evil, I know I gave a few. But, like, what is a 10 to you? I've never played a 10 out of 10 game. People hate when I say this. Because to be fair, it's totally, like, it fully just depends on how you value the 10 out of 10 rating. Like, for me, a 10 would be, like, literally just perfect. Like, I have no issues at all. Like, 10 is a perfect game. And I've never played one. I've yet to play a 10.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
Clearly never played Bubsy 3D, to be fair. I have not played Bubsy 3D. This is true. How about 9s then?
Destroyed.
9 is like
Watch out.
hard to define, really. I always say I go off of like gut feeling for like a general number, and then I tweak it from there based off of like little things for the decimal point, because I like the 100-point scale because it's really specific, right? Anything above that 100-point scale starts to feel 100 points, not as in like I don't do 88 or whatever, but I do 10 out of 10, or sorry, I do 1 to 10 scale with decimal points, because 10 out of 10 is, or sorry, the 1 to 10 scale is so universally understood and used. And then the 100-point scale is like the standard in the video game industry, and I like it because it is very specific. Like, it allows me to be like, you know, I liked Ace Combat 7, almost as much as Ace Combat 4, but a little bit less. I liked Ace Combat 4 a little bit more, so I could say like Ace Combat 4 8.8, Ace Combat 7 like 8.6, 8.7, whatever, right? Like I can get more granular with it, but it's so straightforward on like the 1 to 10 level. But a 9 out of 10 game is one that is like mega impressive, just super well made, few flaws. Recomp Man watches Chole. Is Volcano Water Recomp Man? Wait a minute. Eesh. I guess it would make sense. You know, it's like Obo said, I am the Ace Combat 6 streamer.
Shut down.
Obo himself said it. I'm the Ace Combat 6 streamer. It's true. I am Recomp Man. I had no idea. I'll be right. And the ACI Man. The Recomp specifically, right? Or Operation Liberation as well? Or just the Recomp, right? You are the AC6 streamer for multiple ACs. I hate that. OEL is me and Recomp. Shit. I had no idea that I thought they're all you? I thought these were all like separate projects. Like separate, like different teams or whatever, right? Obviously they are separate projects. You get what I'm saying? Since I'm working on Recomp. Kono might also be in this very chat right now. I don't know about that. I don't think Kono is that connected to the community. I got the vibe, I don't know this for certain, but I got the vibe that like none of the developers knew who really any of us were. Kono did know ACF and recognize him because ACF has met him before. But generally, I got the vibe that like the Bandai Namco America staff knew who we all were, because obviously they were the ones who organized the whole thing and like invited us and everything. But I don't think any of the developers really knew who we were, which would make sense. They're Japanese. Very few of them spoke English, so it would kind of make sense. Kono knows you now. Okay. You guys are making me look a little stupid here, because you're right. Shit. Y'all will have to watch the video and see if John Judgment finds his judgment. I saw a comment on what's it? On a video, like I was literally just going around listening to the soundtrack of Lost Judgment after I played it. And on the track Unwavering Belief, I saw a comment that said John Judgment versus Ben Belief. And I hate that the Yakuza community brain rot has gotten to me, and I actually found that funny.
Shut down. Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
So, hold on. Volcano Water, since you're here. I was literally thinking about this morning. So since I have you here, professional opinion, if someone were maybe looking to make a big video on Ace Combat Infinity and was going to use OEL but was waiting for the terrain fix and then waited a little longer because of other projects that were already ongoing, right? And if they were now thinking like, should I just use OEL? Or would it be better to wait for recomp, since that's also now a thing? What would you say to that?
Shut down.
First-hand opinion. That is funny. Ben believe. I thought it was good. I also saw someone saying recomp will take at least 2 more weeks. What's the at most? Hypothetically. Obviously not quite like, you know, I'm not expecting it to be literal. Like, if it's not at most, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is taking so? But like, what would be the at most? He's got 2 more weeks. Look, 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks could be filled with other things, right? They could. 2 more weeks could be filled with other projects, certainly. But like, what would be the longer estimate? If there is one. It boots in game, but the ground is missing. It does sound like it would take a bit. For only offline, just a week and a half? Oh, really? So the offline, oh, I'm sitting here like, bro, where is the objective? I'm so confused. I've never seen this. I see it. I missed an A10 on objective A.
Operation Alpha complete. Enemy forces within Operation Airspace have been eliminated. Nice work. Target coordinates have been sent. This is the last group.
I mean, which of those are 2 out of 10? Elden Ring?
Shut down.
Let me just read all of them in my head and see if I would give any of them a 10, potentially.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
I would not give any of them a 10. Like, I love a lot of those. Like, a lot of those would be, like, solidly in the 9s for me. Some of them, MGS1 in particular, I've even given above a 9 when I did review them. But, like all of those games, I can think of at least 1 or 2 things that I really don't like in those games as well. You know what I mean? So for me, I could never be like, this is a perfect game. Some of them are like major things, like Halo CE. I fucking love Halo CE. I would give it a really strong 9 something score, right? But like, that level design is bad. It's that level design is brutal. Especially the second half. Some of those levels, like the library and 2 betrayals and keys, are just actually miserable on replays. Granted, on first playthrough, they're maybe not that bad. The library is. But like all 3 of those on replays of CE are fucking miserable levels. They're such slogs to get through.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
You know what I mean?
Forces are approaching the city. Intercept.
Are all close to perfect. Armored Core 3. Chrono Trigger, I can't say I've played. MGS1 is a 9. Above a 9 for me. I don't remember what I gave it. I think it was... It's easy to remember most of my 9s because I've given so few. I think MGS1 was like a 9.4. Something like that. Again, I like the 100-point scale because it can be specific like that. The library on Lasso was painful. Bro, the library on normal is painful. Just because it's so slow and boring. Even like if it's not challenging, it's just such a pain to get through purely because it's boring. I am so sorry. But, like, I gotta do it. About how far through 6 are we now? At the start of stream, we were at 66.56%. Sorry, Volcano. I got sidetracked. I'm back. Not for anything crazy. Just out of curiosity, for implementing the multiplayer, what are you planning to use for the recomp? For, like, the networking side of it? And I assume...
It's the birds, they're spies for the government. Birds don't exist. They're all surveillance robots.
OEL since it's just a server. Oh, okay, that makes sense because it runs. Yeah, okay. So you need to fill the PSN gap. Yeah, okay, I got that. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. And you wouldn't be able to use RPCS3s, whatever it's called. I can never remember the abbreviation for it. Or at least no, you probably can't. I was like, maybe you can, but probably not. Considering the final run in OG CE just doesn't make sense. It's actually, Hidden Xperia just did a really good video talking about, like his overall thoughts on the build that he got to play of the CE remake. And he talked about how, like, Silent Cartographer had 0 changes made to level design, like, at all, aside from one little ramp that existed as a shortcut in the original that is just no longer there.
Shut down.
And it's a ramp that, like, genuinely was just kind of redundant. Like, it could be a shortcut technically, but it's no one ever uses it, sort of thing. Aside from that, level design was 1-to-1 on Silent Cartographer. And Assault on the Control Room was 1-to-1, aside from the layout of some of those big, like, circular rooms, because there are so many that are copy-paste. They would change them up slightly, like add a little more elevation to this one or whatever. But, like, 95% of the level design in Assault on the Control Room was identical to the original. So it's actually really interesting to see, like, what levels do they think are good as they are? Which, like, I would say Silent Cartographer would be one of them, right? And then which ones will be, you know, tweaked, and then how will they be tweaked, and yada yada. OEL will migrate to the recomp. Oh. Interesting. I made a VR mod for 6 as an experiment. I have not seen that. Sorry, I missed reading that message out loud earlier. I have not seen that yet. This is the first I'm hearing of it. What if Halo isn't as good as I remember? I haven't played it in years. Bro, pick it up on PC. MCC goes on sale for, like, less than $10 constantly. Like, genuinely, the whole collection is on sale for, like, less than $10 often. You gotta pick up MCC. Come on. What would you rate God of War 2? Off the top of my head, I don't know. Probably pretty highly. I don't know. God of War 2? I haven't played it, like, looking at it critically like that, because I haven't played it in a few years. I would like to think it's pretty high, but sometimes it happens where, like, I replay a game that I think I'm going to score higher than I end up scoring it, because, like, looking at it in a more critical sense, like, I start to notice things that I did notice before, but I didn't really, like, think about before. Stick drift? Oh, no. No. Not to worry, I grabbed it for 12 quid. Yeah, it goes on sale so cheap, and it's, what, 6 games. It's crazy. 7.8 is low. There's no way it would be that low. There's no shot I would score it that low. Early game ratings before the inevitable video. I think like God of War 2 would absolutely be above an 8. I feel like 9 is maybe debatable. Like I feel like I might notice, like I said, more of those things that I typically don't, but then I do when I do a video. A 7.8 is a really good score, to be fair, especially on my scale because I'm stingy. Like a 7.8 would not be a bad score, but I feel like I would put God of War 2 higher. Granted, it's been a while.
ESM is active.
Three at 8.8? A 3 that high above 2? I feel like 2 and 3 are so close together for me. The game looks very weird at 720, 30. 2 used to 4K 60 now. If only the recomp existed when I started this so long ago. To be fair, I might have still gone with Xbox just for the achievements, because I do like having it in like an official sense. You know, like displayed on a profile sort of thing. But I do need to check out the recomp at some point. I've obviously been getting plenty of my AC6 fill lately. Based solely on what you played of 8, what would you rate it? I don't want to rate it off of like only playing what I would estimate is about a third of the campaign. But like early impressions are very good. Certainly.
Alpha 1, ESM is active.
I would say from what we played, it's going to be on the higher end of my Ace Combat ratings. I was very impressed. May as well be an MMO at this point. I did not expect, like, obviously you look at those achievements and you're like, bro, that is ridiculous. 300 victories. But you're like, okay, but I can do it. And then you start doing it and you realize how slow it really is. Right? Can't wait for AC8 100%. Me neither. You guys want to talk about something that, at least off of first impressions, I still have only played maybe like a third of it. Actually, I know I've played about a third of it. But like first impression, I would say it could maybe be a 9. That new Doom expansion. I need to get back on that because holy fuck, that was good. Like, I liked a lot of the core Dark Ages stuff. I just felt like a lot of it could have been done better. But like, I enjoyed Dark Ages a lot. So getting an expansion where they took all that and made it better and fused it with a lot more of like 2016 and Eternal's design. That shit's good. Like, it's really good. And the music is so much better, and it's just like everything about it. I'm like, bro. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only Ace Combat fan who doesn't like multiple special weapons. I watch your streams to cope. Hey man, I'm with you on the multiple specials thing. They're calling it the final form of Dark Ages. It really is. And like having the meat hook back with the spear and having like the dodge move as a secondary option to parrying that offers its own benefits as opposed to parrying, and like everything about that expansion from what I played is so fucking good. It's so good. I was shocked. Like, I was expecting it to pretty much be more Dark Ages, but then it was like Dark Ages, but just entirely better. They even made a unique HUD for the expansion that didn't get put into the base game with the update or anything. Like, if you play the base campaign, it's still the old HUD. Because it's supposed to be the difference between his old suit and no suit and stuff like that. But,
Stage complete. All aircraft return
it's
to
just,
base.
there's so much about that. That was awesome. Rumors that it is already working on
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
what's it? Sorry, I got my brain split there. Shit. Already working on a new Doom. I heard the same thing. Yeah, I don't know, because there has been so much misinformation about id Software with the layoffs and everything recently. But what's it? I would hope it's true. Isn't id Software now just 30 people? It's about 60. We don't know the exact number. It's like 60-ish members left at id right now. Which at first I was like, oh fuck, that's not good. But they did bring a little more peace of mind when they put out that post being like, hey, we're actually like, we're okay. You know, we lost people. But this is about the size the team was when we made 2016. And that really was eye-opening for me. I'm like, they made Doom 2016 with roughly 60 developers? Like, what? I would have thought the 2016 team was way bigger. I didn't realize that they grew that much after the release of 2016. I didn't realize that they had that significant of an influx in developers, right? An influx in staff. Because going from 60, 70-ish to, what was it, like 190, 200-ish developers is crazy. It's definitely not 60. We know that they had a little less than 200 developers pre-layoffs, Hasriel. So we know that they had roughly, let's say 190, 200-ish, and they lost about 135. We don't know exact numbers on either of those. We do know, it's weird. Sorry, we don't know exact numbers on how many they had pre-layoff, and we don't know how many they have specifically right now. But we do know the exact number that got laid off, and it was 136. So we can estimate at the absolute most, like if you assume they literally had 200 developers pre-layoffs, they have 64 developers post-layoffs. Just math. And then, you know, CFA. Do you trust that source? The exact number of the layoffs is confirmed, yes. And the source on their rough, like, staffing pre-layoffs was Microsoft Studios tax filings.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
So I would say both are, yeah, I would trust both of those numbers. Truly a baffling company. I have said before, I don't think the id Software layoffs, or really like any of the recent layoff wave, is baffling. I don't think it's shocking either. It seemed shocking at first. But then when Asha came out and was talking about their their profit margins year over year and how they were declining, and at the point that she publicly came out and talked about it, was sitting at about a 3% profit per year. Yeah, you can't run a business like that. Like, you genuinely just cannot make a business like that. Or you can't run a business like that. You will lose money. And on a scale that large, like Microsoft is talking billions in revenue every year. Like tens, if not hundreds of billions across all of Microsoft Studios. Again, reminder, Call of Duty, even this year, has been averaging like 2 billion in revenue per quarter. And this is the worst year that COD has had in ages. And they're still making multiple $1 billion per quarter, much less per year, on BO7. And that's just one of the games under all of Microsoft Studios. Granted, it's Call of Duty, but like still. We're talking crazy revenue. So when she starts saying like, we're only making 3% profit, we're talking like they're spending tens of billions of dollars every year to make maybe like a few $100 million in profit at the end of the day. Like when you break it down, it's crazy, and it was not sustainable. The layoffs were needed. I don't see anything else they could have done. Exactly. And granted, some people genuinely, and this might sound harsh, but like genuinely, some people are still talking about these layoffs as if they're like unacceptable. But the thing is, man, like Microsoft isn't running a daycare, right? It's a business. They need to make money. And as much as it sucks that people's jobs have to be on the chopping block with that, that's just the nature of business. That's how businesses work. Like if a studio can't perform and can't make profit, then the studio needs to get cut if they're not going to be able to keep up with their development costs, right? Whether that be layoffs or being let go to indie, which I've said before as well. Letting a lot of the recent studios just go instead of shutting them down was such a good move. Also, EML against FA18 is brutal. I feel like this is payback. It could be way worse. Yeah. Apparently Blade has ended up over budget. Yeah, I saw Arcane is in the crosshairs. Keep getting layoffs after releasing big successful games too. Yeah, but the spending is too high. Even if the game is successful, it comes down to profit margin. That's why id saw such a big layoff wave. And they didn't get shut down, but Dark Ages simply cost way too much relative to how much it made back. And they're at a point where they need to make changes quickly before they end up in the negatives. So that just has to happen. Has to do with the implementation of AI. The new the new Xbox CEO has been reducing the use of AI within Microsoft Studios, not increasing it. For a lot of other tech companies right now, that is probably good reason, but the opposite is happening at Xbox right now. How else do they cut costs? Smaller budgets is all they can do. And smaller budgets do include smaller teams. Because part of budget in AAA game development is wages for your developers and such. Like that's something that's part of the budget. So you can't cut costs really any other way. Unless you literally only paid wages and put no money into the game itself, and at that point, that's just not even possible. You just, you literally just can't do that. Like, it is one of those things where, like, it sucks. But it's business. It's just how these things have to go. I would be I would be much more critical if we didn't realize how bad of a spot the company was in because it was being run so poorly for so long. Because, like, really, the thing with the 3% profit margin is it's not even like, oh, you know, it's slowly declining and, you know, it's really low. The thing with 3% profit margin is profit margin doesn't stay consistent. It varies, right? Like the 3% is averaged out. So what happens if there's like some market swing or, you know, change in spending behavior in the market or who knows what? And that 3% sees like a 5% variance, and all of a sudden you've straight dropped from 3 to -2. What if it sees more than a 5% variation in an extreme case and it drops like 10%? Now you're looking at a -7% operating cost, right? Like the thing, you can't even realistically leave yourself at like a 9% profit margin because the market is not completely stable. It doesn't just sit at that number. It swings around a lot. So as a business on that scale, you can't afford to leave yourself sitting around the 3% mark.
Missile was evaded. Fired. Shut down.
Wasn't permanently shackled to these large megacorps. I mean, you can make games not as a business, but like,
Alpha 1.
even then it still kind of ends up being a business. Like, even a lot of people will think just like, oh, indie, right? The indie market is like not a business, but it kind of is. Like, even among the most passionate indie developers, there are so few people, like a minuscule amount of people who legitimately are doing it as pure hobby. Because yeah, like what Tibby says, really the only way it could be is like some guy who has no expenses, not a worry in the world, and can do nothing but just make the games all day, every day, just because he loves it. And like, that's almost never a realistic thing. Because, you know, like all of the indie devs, even like, they still have expenses. They, like Hasriel said, they still need to eat. A lot of them probably have a family. Like even those guys doing it as a hobby are still hoping to make a profit. And once you do make one significant profit as an indie dev, almost all of them then start doing indie dev full time if they have like a mega hit, right? Think like Undertale. What's the guy's name? Undertale? Who's John Undertale? Someone remind me. Tony Fox? That doesn't sound right. Toby Fox. Yeah, even Toby Fox, like say hypothetically he was the guy with no expenses doing it purely out of passion, right? Even after Undertale became the hit that it was, that would be like the end of it being pure passion, and at that point there's the pressure of following up with something equal, right? Or something bigger. And at that point, like, no matter what, Deltarune is being looked at as a product in some way. Like, it's just... And it's not even that this is specific to games either. Like, this is kind of all art forms. And it's not even because it's, like, art can only be a business or it can only be a product, but, like... Was crowdfunded, actually? There you go. Even that wasn't made for free. I wasn't falling for the Sam Joust trap, you bitch. Like music is the same way. Obviously, film is the same way. Art is the same way. All of them, kind of no matter what, end up being viewed as like product or business in some way. Because even at a hobby level in like all of those, I feel like it's fair to say that pretty much everyone has the thought at some point, at the very least in the back of their head, about like, it would be so amazing if I could do this full time, like for a living. Like if I could get good enough at drawing or good enough at making music or whatever it might be. I would love to do this for a living if I could. And I don't feel like it's inherently a bad thing either. Weirdly. Because it kind of sounds depressing in a way. But then, like, that also kind of brings in the competition part, right? And it kind of pushes everyone to perform as well as they can, try new things, try like crazy things that will make them stand out. Like, in a way, it kind of brings more to the art form in its own weird way. Like, it takes away and it gives, if that makes sense. It's interesting. Again, it applies to all of them, right? Like games, music, film, whatever. Like, it's both a good and a bad thing. Because it does take away in some ways, but like it also, it pushes people to be better. Fucking Call of Duty and Battlefield last year. Like, everyone was talking about how both of them got better because they were both afraid of each other. Right? And it was true. Like, both Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7 were way better products for the fans of those series than anything we had gotten in like 5+ years. Massive amount of studio acquisitions accelerated the problem. Yeah, now we're seeing a lot more of them go independent or like start up as independent, right? Yeesh. So it's maybe possible. I feel like we did kind of lose something when there were all those big acquisitions and we went from like everyone kind of making their games and then looking for a publisher for that game to like everyone being owned by a publisher. I feel like that was kind of the issue. I've never had this thought before now, genuinely. I'm just working through this thought for the first time in my head. But legitimately, that may have been one of the biggest like shifts that really changed things. Like back in the day, you would make a game like, I don't know, what's something that Activision published but they didn't own the studio? Destiny. All right, like Bungie was a Microsoft studio for a while. They got their freedom. They developed Destiny, the first one. And once they were already like a couple years deep and had a lot to show for it and like their thought was fully fleshed out, then they started shopping around for publishers, and eventually Activision was like, yeah, we believe in this, we'll publish this. Right? Like, they made the game fully independent, just believing in their own idea, and then they went and found a publisher. A publisher who was willing to take them on. I wish we had more of that in the modern market, because we really kind of lost that. That was how it was for most of 7th gen and like early 8th gen, but then there were all those acquisitions. Yeah, Rebel, I've been seeing a lot of like people almost getting the rose-tinted glasses ripped right off of them with these BO1 and BO2 re-releases, where a lot of people are like initially playing them and thinking that the ports are the problem, but then slowly realizing that like, no, the games were just always like that. Like, that's just how it was back then. Like, that's just how old COD operated in a lot of ways. Like, the netcode was bad because it was all peer-to-peer. The hit registration especially was not consistent. There's definitely issues with the ports though. I've seen that the BO2 port is like basically perfect. The BO1 port I've seen has some bugs, but the BO2 port is like legit nearly perfect. from what I've seen. I'm obviously not on PS5, but I'm a big COD bro, so I've been in the discussion quite a bit. Keeping up with it, checking it all out. You want to talk about what's an issue? The pricing. Like, right now on the PSN sale, it's kind of okay. Once that PSN sale runs its course and the games are $70 for, you know, the game plus DLC, that's crazy. Right? That's crazy. $70 a piece, mind you, for the game plus DLC. Like, if you wanted BO1 with DLC, 70 bucks. People are XP boosting. The BO1 glitch that people are using in the new port is a glitch that is in the old version. And people have just rediscovered it. The BO2 one, people are modding. The BO2 is not using like an in-game glitch or anything for that. That's actually people modding and hacking already. Are you fucking serious? Yeah. It got patched? Sweet. But yeah, that glitch was present in old BO1. That was one of the, like, you know, again, people thinking that the issue is the port, but then no, the game was just like that. Like, it's actually just a symptom of the ports being one-to-one. People got level reset. That's awesome. But BO2 is actually people modding. There's no similar bug in BO2. The BO2 one is actually just people modding the game. It's already people cheating the game. Not malicious cheating, like you said, but like, the BO2 one is actually people cheating. The BO1 one is just an old glitch from back in the day.
Missile missed. Missile struck target.
We should get Cole to play Persona 3. Don't. I probably won't like it.
Missile was evaded.
And then I'll have the Persona fans at my throat.
Warning, incoming missile.
Can't believe they got rid of wager games. The wager thing, at first I was super like confused on it, but apparently it's actually a legal obligation. Like, with modern like gambling legislation in games, if they had done that the same way again, it would have been illegal. Like, apparently they would have left it in, but like legitimately, just, you can't do that anymore in games. Is that because of the Battlefront 2 mess? Yes. Legitimately, that's what introduced all that legislation. That was what, like, the thing that started it all up a few years ago. Yeah. It's because of that. Overwatch played a role in it.
You're leaving combat airspace. Turn
Call of
back
Duty played a role in it. Yeah, it's all a symptom of that from a few years ago. Can't promote it either. Yep. Game has no grinding. He doesn't even believe me. I so genuinely like, and I know that the SMT games are notorious for it, which is why I'm like, I would just probably not like them. Even the newer Persona games, I'm sure still have some of it to some degree. I don't hear them get brought up as much, but some Persona games I hear this about them. Grinding is the worst part of any JRPG. Like, I don't know why that just kind of became the style, other than, you know, people who are really into it just started to recognize that as part of it and, like, in a weird way, start to see charm in it. But holy fuck, as someone who's not big on JRPGs, like, that, it's the worst part. Just hitting a point in the game where it's like, yeah, no, you can't really do this Unless you just go spend like an hour, you know, mindlessly spamming the attack button on lower level enemies, and then you come back. That shit sucked, always. And if the game were more like made with that as a core part of its structure, maybe it could work. Like, I could maybe think of a couple ways in which it would be possible that grinding could not suck ass in a JRPG, but kind of the whole game would have to be structured in a certain way to make it not feel like shit. You know what I mean?
Warning, incoming missile. Missile was evaded.
The other thing for me, and it's gonna sound like a silly thing, but it's not that silly. Text-based dialogue, like fully text-based dialogue, makes me sleepy. In any game, it's not like a JRPG specific thing, but in any game, like if all of the dialogue is done through text, and I have to just read everything, like it, over time, it makes me really sleepy. It's like a mind-numbing experience reading that much text for me. Like at a certain point, my brain kind of gets burned out by it. If it's too much over the course of like a couple hours or so, it can be a lot. Which is also something I know the Persona games are known to have an absurd amount of text-based dialogue. It's one of the other things that has kept me away from it for the longest time. It's whimsical and magical. Even if it's good dialogue, it just there's something about like reading that much over like a long period of time that my brain starts to like shut off on me. Like some of the Yakuza games, when I'm recording those like all day for reviews, if I spend like a whole day just doing side content and there's not much voice acting, I end up feeling like I want to go to bed by like 4 p.m. because it's just like my brain is fucking cooked from reading too much. What would you rate RE4? I've rated both RE4s. Both, I believe... I believe both were in the 9 territory for me. But allowed people to put it on physical media yourself for your own safekeeping. I don't think that would solve the issue. I think that would introduce way more issues than it would solve. Like, yeah, that's a terrible idea. Actually, the more that I think about that, no. Yeah, definitely a strong no. Because, like, explain. Part of the thing with like physical copies is that since you have ownership of it, if either you don't like the product or if you know, maybe years on you're not playing it, you just want to get some of your money back and get rid of it, you can sell it because you own it. You can sell it to someone else. They could buy it used. Like my Ace Combat 6 disc, I bought from someone who bought this like way back on the 360, and I bought it from them because I needed it for content, right? That guy was able to sell off his Ace Combat 6 that he wasn't playing anymore. That's part of like the ownership of the game, of anything, but the game in this case. And if you let people, you know, burn it to a physical media, You want to buy a PC copy of SH2? No. No. If you let people like burn it and you allow that in your terms of service for safekeeping and whatnot, it does solve the thing where they can revoke your ownership at any time. But you obviously can't let people sell it, because then, like, A, Sony doesn't want you to do that because, you know, they get totally cut out. They would never allow it. But say they did, you know what you could do if they just allowed it like that? And it might sound so simple, but you could just buy a PlayStation game. Like, let's say The Last of Us 3 comes out. You could just buy The Last of Us 3, burn it to digital. Sony allows you to. And then even if they put a cap on it where you can only burn it once like that to a physical copy, physical media, whatever it might be, guess what? You can duplicate it. Even if the PlayStation itself only lets you do it one time, once you have it, you can put that shit on a PC, duplicate it as many times as you want, on as many pieces of physical media as you want. And guess what? You can then just become your own vendor of The Last of Us 3. And you can sell it for whatever price you want. You could sell it for $40 instead of their $70, undercut the market, and you have an infinite supply of copies. You just need to buy the empty discs or whatever to burn it to. Or I guess not discs, because those won't work in a PlayStation, but you get what I'm saying. Whatever drive, you know. You could just become a distributor of any game that you own on PlayStation if they straight up allow you to do that. They can have it in their TOS that it's illegal to do that or something. Yeah, but then people can do it. They have it in their TOS right now that you can't, what's it? You can't burn things to disk in the first place. Guess what people do? Like, reproduction copies of games are strictly against Sony and Xbox and like Nintendo. Like, it's against all of their TOS. But if you go on eBay right now and look up like reproduction copies of a game, you'll find them. False literally asked me about a reproduction copy of Silent Hill 2 because she saw it on eBay and it was significantly cheaper than an official copy. She was like, could I just buy this? I'm like, you could, but that's not legal. Like, you certainly could buy that for cheaper, but I probably wouldn't buy that to be the copy you stream with. If I have a burner and they don't know what the fuck are they gonna do? Exactly. And like the thing is, even if they make it against their TOS, guess what? You make a new account, right? A burner account, like Rebel says. You buy however many games you want as like you investing in your little scheme, your business. And then you burn them all before you start selling. You get a physical media copy of all of them yourself. And then guess what? You have it. Again, you can infinitely duplicate it from, as long as you keep one copy yourself, you can keep duplicating it. They can't stop you from doing that, even if it's against their TOS. Like, they've let that out in the wild. This is why they don't allow things like this already. Is because they can say it's not allowed, but they can't actually control it. There's no way for them to control it.
Shut down.
You can do the same thing on PC, but people don't outright sell it there. Because there's not much reason to. Steam exists. PC already has a free market. Right? the reason that you can do that on a lot of platforms, granted, you can actually do that already, even though it's against TOS on anything, if you have the know-how and the right equipment for it. The reason that people don't do it is because currently there's an existing free market on all platforms. Since physical copies exist for all the consoles, which introduces a free market there, and PC, you can use whatever game vendor you want, and they all have their pros and cons. But once PlayStation goes all digital fully, PlayStation will be the first gaming platform to not have a free market, and that's the issue. Is that once they do that, you will quite literally only ever be able to buy a PlayStation game from Sony. There will be no other way. That's the big issue.
Inbound cruise missile.
Because like what I described is something you could hypothetically do on every platform already. But the reason you don't see many people do that is because there's not really much reason to. The free market exists already. It's just people don't really seek it out because, you know, you're not going to be able to offer something much better than anyone else. They're going to be the last of its kind? Not really. I don't think so, at least. Like, I don't know. What's a Wolverine probably won't significantly increase in value after the full digital shift. Because, like, physical disc value is more about how many copies are in circulation as opposed to, you know, are they still producing them? Like, if you go try to get a PS2 copy of, like, Devil May Cry 3, that shit's still gonna be cheap as fuck. Because there are so many copies of DMC3 out there. Even though they're not printing discs of DMC3 still.
Special weapons running low.
Right? They're not still producing them, but the price didn't really shoot up because there's just so many copies out there as is.
We have radar lock on. All special weapons used. Missile evaded.
Consider Pokemon. What about it? What, huh? Consider Pokemon? Hot sauce? Question mark? Catch 'em all. Hot sauce, are you advocating for piracy in my live stream chat?
Missile missed. Warning, incoming missile. Missile was evaded.
Oh no, he was saying the prices of Pokemon, like old physical Pokemon prices are high. I got it. Do not advocate for piracy in this chat.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
I will have to time you out / ban you for it. YouTube holds me to that. I have to. Don't do it. I would. You mean you would never?
Lock on.
Just saying. No. You mean you would never? PS6 is most likely going to bomb hard. I think PS6 will be very unpopular among like the dedicated gaming community. I think PS6 is largely going to be fine. because like I bring this up a lot. Like 90% of the video game market consumers are not like in the know, or you know, they don't like watch or consume external content about video games. That genuinely is less than 10% of consumers that make up that market. So genuinely, like when it comes to the digital only thing, like a good 90% of PlayStation's user base is not actually going to be aware of this controversy. Legitimately, which might sound crazy, but it's true. Like, it sounds insane when you say it out loud, but legitimately, statistically, it's true. I talked about before, when you go into like AAA game development, they start to really drill that into your head, because a lot of people at first have a hard time like thinking about it that way. But when you actually go into dev, you have to think about it that way when designing games, and like even just like physical products if you were making like a console. Because you have to realize that your game has to be made, or your product or whatever, has to be made for someone who doesn't consume outside content or engage in conversation to be able to fully understand and enjoy. Now, some games specifically do cater to the hardcore audience, and like it works. Fuck's sake, Path of Exile 2, whenever they drop a new league, is like a top 5 most played game on Steam for weeks. Every single time. The game isn't even out yet. And that game is made for like the most basement dwelling turbo virgins. Yes, I'm talking about myself. And it's one of the most successful games on the PC platform as a whole. It's not even out yet. It purely caters to that audience, and that audience fucking eats it up every single time. So to a degree, there's like a market for that, but when you go into development, you do get the idea drilled into you, whether you're in college, like doing a degree, or if you just hop on as a junior developer. Everyone with more knowledge and experience in the industry will drill into you, like 90+% of your players will not engage or like hear about anything outside of just seeing the game, thinking it's cool, buying it, playing it. Like, that's it. They're saying that there's a market for good games. Yeah. Path of Exile 2. Great game. Amazing game. Fantastic game. Genuinely. Still has some kinks to work out. Still has a little ways to go before it's ready for like a full 1.0 release. But legitimately, like, that is a game that purely caters to the most hardcore gamers you can imagine. And somehow it beats out like all of these mass market products. Like, it, when Arc Raiders and PoE 2 came out around the same time and everyone was talking about how crazy the success of Arc Raiders was, PoE 2 had more daily players than Arc Raiders. PoE 2 was selling more copies and being engaged with more regularly than Arc Raiders. Like, when you let that sink in, along with the fact that PoE 2 is like a purely hardcore, dedicated audience kind of game, it is wild that they would be able to achieve that kind of success. I'm dumb. Kids aren't going to be able to get games as birthday presents anymore. Yes, they are. They're going to get a little case with a sticky note in it. It's going to say, put this code in the store. Smiley face. blame normies for getting into video games and treating it like a personality quirk. I wouldn't. Like, it's one of those things, again, where, like, it has some negative effects, but I would say it's more of a positive than a negative. Like, people very mildly getting into games, maybe only playing, like, a few games, and that's it. That, like, even just if they play a game, you know, buy it once, play it a little bit, never really talk about it or engage with it beyond that, even that then puts money into the market, which can be put into that game's, you know, sequel or whatever it might be. And it allows the industry to grow and to become more than it was before, even if those people aren't like super hardcore dedicated players. It's still a huge positive, right? Like, Ready or Not sold millions of copies, and none of those people, I say none, very, very few people who bought a copy of Ready or Not played it for more than 10 hours. But because it sold so many copies, the developers were able to keep putting more into the game. They were able to make the product better as its early access went on, because it got all those sales. Even if people weren't regularly coming back and engaging and discussing it, it allowed that game to grow. I choose Ready or Not because I know that Rebel enjoys it heavily. If anyone's like, what is this example? It's targeted at Rebel. Simply. Like, even that more casual baseline audience is a very positive thing for the industry. For any game, but for the industry as a whole. Like, yeah, it's a very big positive. Even if it may not seem like it.
Shut down.
Mainly been playing Reforger. Same thing for Reforger. Granted, Reforger has not sold as many copies as Ready or Not. It's not as popular of a game, but it's the same idea. That's why they do early access in the first place, is so that they can get what is done out there. And then on top of like getting consistent feedback from an active player base while you're still finishing up the game, it also brings in a ton of funding that can be pumped into the game. And like most people who play Reforger or buy it aren't going to play it much. I bought it. I played like 3 hours of it. I didn't like it that much. Granted, I'm just an Arma 2 guy. Always have been, probably always will be, the direction they went with 3 and Reforger. But like, my sale gave them funds to keep putting into the game, even though I'm not really into it. At least I wasn't at the time. It may have gotten better. I don't know. When I played it, I didn't enjoy it much. Like, where it was at that point in time, I was not a fan. But I'm sure it's grown and gotten a lot better since then, right? That's just kind of how early access games are. But the casual audience is much more of a positive than a negative for, what's that? For the industry. The only reason the industry is at the level of popularity and quality and all that it is because of that casual audience. Like fucking Ace Combat 7. More straight up good example for what's it? For the stream. AC7 sold 7.5 million copies. You go on social media, you go to like Ace Combat YouTube channels and such, right? They don't get that many views. It's still a very niche, small community of Ace Combat fans out there. Like, Ace Combat 7 sold so many copies over the years, and that allowed Ace Combat 8 to grow into the super impressive title that it ended up being. I'm still shocked, by the way. As well as it allowed Ace Combat 8 to become Bandai Namco's premier title for the year, where they're putting most of their marketing budget and focus into Ace Combat 8. Like, millions of players bought Ace Combat 7 and enjoyed it, and like, that was it. They didn't engage with it any further. They thought it was fun for a few hours. They moved on with their life. But even that audience allows the Ace Combat brand to grow into something much more than it was before. Stuff like that is important. It's arguably just as important as the hardcore audiences from like the standpoint of long-term growth and success, right? Still haven't gotten all the achievements. I haven't gotten all the achievements either because they added them only in the 1.0 release. And I swear like 90% of my playtime in Ready or Not was pre 1.0. I actually have like very few achievements in Ready or Not because they added them so late. When was 1.0 again? Not that long ago. Fuck's sake. This plane was not the big brain move that I thought it was. Granted, I didn't think it was that big brain. I was more just trying to get some variety. Sometimes achievement hunting pisses me off. Depends on the game. Most games, in my experience, have nice, fun achievements. Some games are Ace Combat 6. Which, to be fair, did have very nice, enjoyable achievements up until the multiplayer portion. I will always keep reminding us of that. This 100% was a good time until we got to the multiplayer portion. And even at the beginning of the multiplayer portion, it was a good time. Like that early, almost like discovery portion of the multiplayer bit was also a blast. Now it has gotten to the point of doing the same thing hundreds of times over, but at the start it was really fun. It was great. The issue with Ace Combat multiplayer really is just, what's it? They are very reliant on having varied content. Like, having a good offering of, like, different things to do. So when you get a multiplayer, like Ace Combat 7 is the most extreme example, where there's not much to do. The novelty factor of it wears off really quickly, and then you're kind of just bored playing it over and over, right? AC multiplayer drags a lot. Yeah.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
It really, like, if this game only required as much multiplayer completion as ACX, would have been great. Like, we've already played way more AC6 multiplayer than we did ACX multiplayer.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
A lot more. Like, a lot more. It really comes down to, like, that balance of how much content is there, and then for the completion, how much are you required to play of that content? Right? And AC6 has less content than X did, and requires way more time invested for the completion, which is a nasty recipe for hitting that point where you're like, oh my god, how long does this go on for? How many wins do I have remaining? 95. 95 more victories, speaking of. Here's hoping 8 MP isn't annoying. Yeah, it really, there's that balance of, like, having a good amount of content, not requiring an absurd amount of investment to do everything. Like, you do want to have a grind. You do want to have a long-term goal, but you don't want to make it too much relative to how much is available in the game. Right? Like, you want to find that middle ground of getting people to put in a little time investment, get a little bit of that more monotonous feeling near the end. You do want to have some of it for that, like, ultimate reward of having all of the achievements. It's part of it, right? You want to introduce just a little bit of that monotony to it. Just enough that it doesn't become too, like, mentally taxing in a way. And it's rewarding once you hit the end of it, once you hit the finish line. Six definitely found the monotony, did not balance the reward with it. Especially, I was talking about even just the, like, distribution of the achievements in the process of getting all of them is wild in this game. Because for each game mode, you are rewarded an achievement at 10 wins, 30 wins, 50 wins, and then 100 wins. So, like, early on, you know, they're doing pretty all right with, like, breadcrumbing you and giving you those little rewards as you go. And then you hit a point where you have to get 50 wins in that specific game mode before you get the achievement, before you get another little reward for it. You almost want to breadcrumb it out, right? You want to, like, if they had even had one at, like, 70, 75-ish, it would have been great. I would have gotten an achievement today if they had done that. One of the game modes in particular, I did hit 70 wins total in today, tracking it in the spreadsheet. And so, like, I would have gotten something at 70. I would be just about to get something at 75. Like, you wanna spread it out a bit. Ace Combat 6 doesn't do that. Ace Combat 6 gives you a good amount of achievements in the early half, and then the entire later half, you get nothing. You sit there and you wait. Entire second half, you'll get one reward after you go from 50% to 100%.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
I got 290 hours on MGS5. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. I spent like 80 hours on MGS5 just for the review, and I was still having fun with it at the end. The fun factor did not go away. There were, like, frustrating bits of design in that process, like, especially near the end, but the fun factor of MGS5's gameplay and sandbox did not wear off in, like, 80 some hours of playtime. Legitimately, which is very impressive. Not a lot of games that you can say, like, oh yeah, I played it for 80 hours and I was still having fun with it. At least not for me. Some people might be able to think of a good number. I would be impressed if you could think of, like, a significant amount of games where you say that. Because I can think of some. Like Metal Gear Solid 5. I would say, like, all of the modern Doom games are like that. Granted, I think Dark Ages, even now, I only have, like, 50 hours played. But I'm still having a lot of fun with it. Now that I'm back on it. I kind of got away from it because last year was so busy with releases and stuff. But Dark Ages is great still. 600 in AC7 is wild. Armored Core 6, I have, like, almost 200 hours in. I still have a blast whenever I boot that game up. Armored Core 1, even, I think I'm, like, at 90 hours played or something, because DuckStation tracks it. I don't know exactly what I'm at, because I don't really look at it, but something like that for specifically just Armored Core 1. Like original. That game is still pretty fun. But to be fair, Armored Core is similar to like MGS5, where it's more sandboxy. Like it is actually a lot like MGS5, where like as you play through the first time, it's like a structured experience with just a lot of freedom in like how you can approach it. But then that design also inherently allows you to go back and play it again in a totally different way and like try out a new thing, find your own new way to have fun in the game, like every time you go back. Sandboxy games like that are kind of at an advantage long term, right? Your Armored Core 1 score feels so low. To be fair, the how should I say, the new player experience, if you would, of Armored Core 1, of just old Armored Core in general, I don't think this would really change between any of the games, to be honest. I feel like it's the same across all of them. It's like, the best way I could describe it, as someone who only went through it a few years ago, is it's like, it's frustrating, it's obtuse, feels completely nonsensical at times, but it's so interesting that like you weirdly stick with it. But like a lot of negative adjectives in there, right? A lot of them. Yet there's something like this indescribable like intrigue to it that keeps, it's like a carrot on a stick, fuck, that keeps you there long enough to get over that experience. But like getting into old Armored Core blind as a new player is fucking rough. That game just throws you right in, no lube. It's just like, yep, here you go. You're dead. You're losing money. Get fucked. The game is hard because you don't know what to do, because we don't really tell you what to do, because you're supposed to figure it out. And then when you don't figure it out right away, we punish you for it, and it becomes harder to keep figuring it out as you go. But there's something about it that just kind of keeps you there. And then once you're over that, it's like this great, beautiful sandbox experience that never gets old. But man, that process kind of sucks as a new player. Which led to those old Armored Core scores being lower. Would you ever consider doing re-reviews? I've said before, I'm open to re-reviews, but like, I wouldn't want them to take away from me doing reviews of things that I haven't played. So I would want to like get a dedicated team member for it or something. And I would never do a new number score for a game I've already reviewed. Because like, opinions do change over time inherently, especially as you put more time into a game. But I don't want to devalue like the initial new player experience of things. Because I think like your first experience and impression is just as valuable as one that's like 1,000 hours deep. 1,000 hours deep is obviously more valuable in its own way, where you have a deeper understanding of the game. But I think that games, like the way that they bring in new players, is almost just as important, if not more important, than that experience. If that makes sense. Like the ability to engage a new player and convince them that your game is worth 1,000 hours is almost more important than the quality of your game after someone has that deep of an understanding of it. You know what I mean? It's a different value, so it's hard to quantify it. But I feel like it's more important to hook people initially, if that makes sense.
Warning, incoming missile. Target hit.
It's kind of weird to describe, and I feel like I'm not doing a great job. But I feel like some people will at least get what I'm saying. So I wouldn't want to give like a new number score. I thought about like doing the re-reviews in the form of reviews after I've 100%ed them. And I think I actually joked when I talked about this on stream way back. The completionist, now infamous YouTuber, at the time beloved YouTuber,
All aircraft return to base.
but now infamous. He does like a scale of just, is it worth the completion? Like, and he even has like on that scale, like, yeah, the game is good and you should play it, just don't try to complete it. Like, he had a sort of scale that he had made that was like that. I would probably make my own scale in that style for like re-reviewing games. Because I don't want to devalue like that initial first player like numbered score by doing the re-reviews. Reviews with retrospectives even. And I feel a little less strongly on that with like the Resident Evil games, because those games, that's the one review series I've done where I had played the games before. So like those weren't new player impressions aside from certain titles. That one was a weird one where like some of them were, most of them weren't. Most of the Resi games I had played before, but some of them I played for the first time, mostly the obscure spin-offs, right? But that one is weird because like at that point I'm not against rescoring them for that reason, but then it's like, would the score even really change? Because that's already like the more refined scoring of someone who's played it multiple times. So like at that point, what's the point? You know what I mean? Valentine. Dorito. We Dorito it. Yes. Dorito match never fails to entertain. The PS3 era is now considered retro. I've seen a lot of people consider 7th gen retro now. I don't know if I agree, but I think a lot of people generally use the benchmark. I've seen this benchmark go around, at least in the game industry, of if it's more than 20 years old, then it's retro. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that one. I feel like retro is a weird scale for games, because obviously as time goes on, more things become retro. But also as the industry gets older, I feel like it becomes more relative. You know what I mean? Like, the 360, the 7th gen, 360 and PS3 games, if you went by the 20 years old metric, they're not retro. Or sorry, they are retro is what I meant to say. They are retro. But at the same time, like in my brain, our general design philosophies that are like widely adopted and used, and even a lot of our technologies that we use today, are still the ones that we were using during that generation. So like those games still feel new, or like modern, not new. They still feel modern, despite the fact that some of them are more than 20 years old now, right? Like this game is about 20 years old. And yet, if you've only ever played Ace Combat 7 and you started playing Ace Combat 6, it would feel pretty much the same to you aside from like minor details. It's like they're retro, but are they? Because they're still kind of the same thing that we do nowadays. You know? It's weird. Like, I feel like the scale can't be so literal as, like, forever. If it's 20 years old, it's retro.
Special weapons running low.
I feel like the scale shifts as time goes on. And it's kind of, in my opinion, dependent on the current state of the industry.
Crashed.
Like, once we have a massive leap in, like, design styles and philosophies, then maybe I could come around to, like, 360 PS3 being retro. But games that come out today are still largely designed with the same ideas that the games were designed with then. We haven't seen too many significant shifts in the last 20 years in the industry. It's kind of stayed relatively the same with, like, marginal changes and innovations, right?
Careful now, they're
The
trying to
flattening of innovation makes things harder to judge time-wise. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like, we innovated so much trying to figure it out, and then largely on a wide, like, broad scale, we figured things out.
missile evaded.
So we haven't really changed much in the last 20 years. Because that core blueprint of, like, how to make good game
Watch out, the enemy has a lock on you.
is still the same one. Dare I say standardization? Yeah. It almost is. Like, things became more standardized. Like, tutorials are largely done the same way because we figured out the best way to teach a player how to engage with stuff.
Warning, incoming missile.
Or at least the best ways, where there are, like, 2 different ways to tutorialize things. You know? You either do the straight up tutorial at the beginning of the game, or you do slowly introducing mechanics with, like, little pop-ups to teach you as you go. And, like, if you're not doing one of those 2 things, I don't know what you're doing. Are you just not teaching the game at all? Are we just from-softing it? Like, at that point, what are you even doing to tutorialize? I genuinely don't know what else you would do. Because we just kind of figured it out. Like, those are the 2 ways.
Watch out, the enemy has a lock on you. Warning, incoming missile. Radar lock. Missile was evaded.
Fuck. Copywriting a gameplay mechanic. Ay. Shit. My face is itching. But I'm in a tense Dorito dogfight. Now is not the time for my beard to itch. I can't afford it right now.
Fired. Warning, incoming missile. Enemy at 6 o'clock. We have radar lock on.
We're never gonna fucking hit each other. plane sucks dick. Every time we whip it out, it's shocking again.
Warning, incoming missile.
Just how bad the F-117 is in Ace Combat 6. It's fucking horrific. Like, it should be a crime to make a plane this bad in an Ace Combat game. It really should. This should not be allowed ever again. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This plane might be my pick for worst plane in the franchise. Genuinely. Like, if we're excluding the propeller planes and the Boeing and stuff from Joint Assault,
Incoming missile.
this is probably the worst plane in the series. I don't know what else it would be. I don't know if I could even come up with another pick.
All special weapons used.
Brother.
The enemy has a lock on you. Lock on. Warning, incoming missile. Missile evaded.
It's the F1 from Zero. It can't be worse than this. I flew the F1. I flew every plane. In every 100% so far. At least up to this point, it has to be this. There's no doubt in my mind.
Shut down.
No way he gunned me. No. You're kidding. No fucking shot.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
Feels closer to naval warfare. This bitch. He's running. He saw the timer. I didn't until just now. God damn it.
Stage complete. All aircraft return to base.
See, I thought he was running, but like I had time, and then I didn't realize we had less than a minute.
Engage the
God damn it. I hated that. Bro, we just could not hit each other. Slowest circles of all time. Could not hit a fucking thing. Lucky gun. That was like the golden opportunity machine gun kill. That was wild. Would have been done if Cole simply said non-known multiplayer achievements. See, but what would the fun in that be? Because then I'm not actually doing everything. Right? I hit you 2 separate times? Oh, did you? I didn't hear the sound effect the first time then. Gun kill is disrespectful. To be fair, I don't know how he got it lined up during all that, but if you line up the gun in Ace Combat 6, things just die. Like, the game is known for it in the community. The machine gun in Ace Combat 6 is absurdly powerful. Wouldn't be the top AC6 streamer if he didn't. It's true. It's true. I am the top AC6 streamer. This is a known fact. It is. The suffering will continue until the gamer score improves. I love gamer score. I will never get over the fact that it's called that and that they have actually just stuck with it. It's amazing. Was playing air combat the other day. It's too easy. Play it on hard. Please, I beg, come back to me. Fuck air combat. Never again. Never hard mode air combat ever again. Nope. Wait. Thank you for the 17 months, False. Appreciate it. Wait. I'm sure you do. Chat, do you see how she treats me?
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
Bad on higher difficulties. Hard mode is an experience where, like, 80% of the time, it feels like a good challenge. 10% of the time, it feels easy. 10% of the time, it's like the most challenging missions in the entire franchise. And not in a good way. Air combat on hard mode has its moments where it's just like, what the fuck even happened when balancing this mission? I don't know if you use sticks. No, I did not use sticks. The game isn't made for sticks, which is why they feel bad. Because you can use analog in air combat. However, it doesn't support analog input.
Tracking you on radar. Special weapon. Shut down.
Got qualmed. I got qualmed.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
Opinion on looking at gaming eras like we do comic book eras. Mentioned at 38. I feel like we kind of do. Granted, a lot of people look at it and like, what's it? Just new and retro, or like modern and retro, I guess. And a lot of people also just look at it purely as like console gens. But I feel like in a way, I don't have names for them or anything. It would be nice to have like fun names for them, but like in my head, there's like the prehistoric era of text boxes running on PCs the size of a fucking wall. Or like, even if it wasn't like that, it was like the early arcade games, or like, you know, early PC games like MIDI Maze and shit like that.
Watch out, the enemy has shut down.
And then there's like the 80s, like the sort of like Nintendo era almost, for at least the later half of the 80s. Yeah, Atari games in the prehistoric era. That's like early retro, where in my head, it's like, that's the era of retro where there were some games that if you play them today, they are still fun. There are not many, but there are some. Or like, there are people who genuinely love NES games more than anything else. Those people probably also do crazy things to their genitals for fun, but like, those people exist. Where like, you know, you get your Legend of Zeldas and your Super Mario Bros from that era, but like most games from that era are just not very fun nowadays, mostly because they're too quick to hand out punishment, and you know, reward is rare, requires too much effort for what you get back, sort of thing. OG Zelda's good though. And then there's like the 90s. I think 90s specifically is like peak retro era. where you start to see some more modern design concepts being used, and like so many different genres kind of hit their respective golden eras in the 90s, or at least like their early golden eras, I guess. Like, I immediately, when I think of like the peak of 90s gaming, like FPS in the 90s, holy fuck. FPS games in the 90s were going crazy. Like, very beginning of the 90s, there was like Wolfenstein 3D and shit, right? Then right after that, there was Doom. Then right after that, there was like System Shock and Marathon. And then right after that, there was fucking, well, no, there was a little bit of a gap where there was a lot of like stuff just kind of copying that. But then right after that, there was like Duke Nukem and Quake and Shadow Warrior and Blood and Medal of Honor and FPS, GoldenEye. FPS went fucking insane. Perfect Dark throughout the 90s. And it's crazy because like with Wolfenstein 3D, that's basically like the birth of the FPS as we know it. Where like there were some FPS before that, like there was shit called like Maze War and stuff like that before it, if you know those, if you're familiar with the history. But really, like FPS as it would actually become known and loved and like popularized, it started in like 1992. And by like 1996, we were getting FPS games that are still considered all-time classics, just as video games in general, right? Not even just within the genre, but like GoldenEye 64 and Duke Nukem and shit like that are like still some of the most iconic and beloved video games to this day. And they came around only like 4 or 5 years after the genre itself effectively was even born. Like FPS was such a rapid escalation in the 90s. It's actually kind of crazy. I forgot Turok. I'm still, my brain is remembering 90s FPS games that were fucking awesome that I didn't list off the top of my head there. Turok. Badass. I thought of Turok because Dragon said Nintendo used to be the place for FPS, and that reminded me. Because on the console, Nintendo was like the home of FPS because of Turok and Perfect Dark and GoldenEye. Nintendo, if you weren't on PC, because PC was still like the dominant market for the most part, because PC had Doom and Quake and Duke Nukem and all that, right? Like, come on. But like Nintendo, if you were on console, was the home of FPS. Specifically the N64. And PS1 tried to have some good FPS games, but like PS1 did not have the RAM to make good FPS games. There were occasional like ones that were pretty good, but PS1 was so hardware limited, it couldn't do it. Even in 3D, it did not have the horsepower for it.
Watch out, the enemy has a lock on you.
And then even like I stopped at the 90s. Oh yeah, Half-Life. How did I miss Half-Life? Holy shit. Like I stopped at the end of the 90s thinking about that, but then early 2000s FPS was still going crazy. Like Halo, obviously a lot of those big ones from the 90s just kept iterating and putting out crazy classics like Half-Life 2, Doom 3. There were a lot of good FPS games in the early 2000s that if I said them out loud, people probably wouldn't know. But there were a lot, like Sin was cool. Oh yeah, Unreal. Unreal was like, what, 99? That was the very end of the 90s. Unreal Tournament was largely like 2000s. That's a good example for 2000s especially. But the first Unreal that then birthed Unreal Tournament was like 99. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was 98, but I think it was 99.
Alpha 1,
I think it was literally the very, very end of the 90s. Oh, it was 98, same as Half-Life. Never mind then. You forgot Doom 64 on the N64? I didn't forget it. It sucked. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm not.
Enemy down.
Yeah, it was 98,
All aircraft
not
return to
99.
base.
Besides 93, Doom, 98 is the most important year in FPS.
Alpha 1.
I would argue 96,
Enemy forces are approaching the city. Intercept.
but 98 also. But I would say 96 was more important. 96 was the birth of 3D FPS with like Quake, like actual 3D FPS, not the 2.5D that was standard up until that point. Actual 3D FPS came around in 96, and we got like Quake and GoldenEye and a lot of the big classic FPS games of the 90s that were not only trailblazing but were also, you know, just some of the best from that decade. '90s first-person games, not just shooters. There were some cool ones, like Thief was really cool. I would say most of the like classic '90s first-person games, at least that I think of, and maybe it's because of my bias, but they were Sims. Elder Scrolls? Oh. Bro, I will be so real with you. It's a miracle that franchise exists. I've played Arena. I've played like 10 hours of Arena. I've really tried to get into Arena. It sucks so much ass. That game is awful. I've tried. That game fucking blows. Daggerfall is okay. Daggerfall got better. But holy shit, was Arena awful. The idea was there. The execution never showed up until Daggerfall. Morrowind was 01, I think.
Shut down.
That sounds right. 01. I think it was 01.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
It also peaked in 02, just saying. Yuriko's onto something.
I'm a furry again.
Elder Scrolls was not good until 02. And it has never been as good as it was in 02 since then. It was 02. After I said 01 and thought about it while I was joking, it was 02. That is... Because I forgot the Xbox thing. If I had remembered that, I would have known it was 02. I want them to get a new writer for the main series. Why?
Enemy aircraft down.
I know I'm not discussing a lot of the story stuff, but the story, like the writing from what I played of 8, it's probably the best it's been since like AC5, AC4. Some people will say 0, I know. I hold strong to...
Have you seen my fucking schlong?
0 has a well-written character, not really a well-written story, but that's a whole other debate that I've done many a time. Zero has a lot of charm, even with the elements I don't like. Like, PJ is just funny. Like, he's not a particularly well-written character by any stretch of the imagination, but he's funny. I like him. I like the guy that pretty much exists just to be like, hey, I heard you need a wingman for a few missions. Also, I have a girlfriend. Ah, I'm dead. I like PJ. He's funny. He has his charm. He's the best part of Zero aside from Pixie for me. Without a doubt.
Shut down.
Wrote pretty much everything in the main series since 4 besides 0. I think just new ideas would be good. I could see that. I don't know. I thought 8 was really, like, again, I only got to play, like, the beginning of 8. So if 8 starts falling apart plot-wise later in the game, that's not what I'm talking about right now. You can't come back and be like, what the fuck were you on about? I only saw the first few missions. But the writing in those missions was, it felt to me like a big step up from the last few games. For sure. Like, probably than anything since 6. Like, starting with 6 and on. I would say, from what I played, it had better writing than, like, anything since the PS2 era. Zero's the best written game in the franchise. It has the best written character. Everything else outside of that character feels very shallow, but that character is good. Need to get back on Wolfenstein. Chat, best Wolfenstein game, go. I'm already, like, expecting to see a lot of new orders, but since we've got a few minutes over time, go. You see anything relating to AC3? Like a GR crate? There was one, like, thing like that where the logo was just off in the distance, but I think it's largely just gonna be cameos. Like, I'm not really talking in detail about any of the story stuff outside of the basics because I don't want to, like, spoil too much for people. Because, like I said, we saw a lot that I almost wish they had let us play the mission with the dialogue taken out. Because I'm spoiled on pretty major things just from what I played, right? And I don't want to share those things publicly and spoil it for everyone else. But, like, I will say I want to set a realistic expectation with the AC3 stuff, where I think unless they pull a crazy late game plot twist out of nowhere, it's gonna largely just be like cameos and light world building elements to start planting the seeds for later. I don't know if they'll really play a central role in the story at all. In my opinion, it seems like that's the way it's going from what we saw as well. Wolfenstein RPG, okay. Took me years to finish New Order, so weird. Really? Bro, I remember picking up New Order when it came out and blasting it in like 2 days. I could not put the New Order down when it first released. And then I played it again for the other timeline. And then I played it again on like max difficulty. I think it's called Uber. I think 2029 is too late to start planting seeds. AC3 takes place in 2040. Dissian dies in 2030. Dissian dies in 2030? That cannot be right. What? If that's right, I hate AC3's story even more. Yep. Are you fucking serious? Wait, actually, that's not an error. That's legit. That's accurate.
Crashed.
That makes the true ending even fucking funnier. Yeah, if that's true and that's not a mistake.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
You're telling me that Simon got parasocially cucked in 2030 and the guy died shortly after, and he held that grudge for 10 years? May 14th, 2030. You can tell that these guys went on to write Drakengard with how fucking stupid that is. God damn it. It gets even worse the more that I learn about it. You didn't even make it to first, let alone second. Bro, he had barely even spoken to the woman outside of work. That's why I always talk about how fucking dumb that motivation is. For being like the entire central reason for the plot happening at all. It's such a fucking weak motivation. That's always why I've been so critical of it since doing the true ending. Fortunately, a lot more realistic than you'd believe.
Alpha 1, engage the enemy.
So fucking stupid. You can tell that they went on to write Drakengard, because what the fuck? Alright, alright. It is that time. It is that time. People put too much emphasis on the Simon being in love with Yoko thing. The writers put too much emphasis on it. It's the entire inciting incident of the plot. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy and you haven't done so already, feel free to go ahead and leave a sub, follow, come back another time. We're doing this. We're doing all sorts of other stuff. Like Yakuza, Metal Gear, Resident Evil. It's all good stuff. Come back for any of it. Also, sorry, I forgot to say, we are ending the stream at 69.21%. You heard me right. Also, if you enjoyed, leave a like. It helps out with algorithm and stuff, so I'd appreciate it. Thank you if you've done so already. Thank you if you're about to do so. If you're looking for links to anything else outside of Twitch or YouTube to engage with the community, check out links in the description below. Things like Twitter, Discord server, whatever. Those are all down there. Other than that, though, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you always back here next time. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for coming to the stream, and goodbye.